All right, so we're going to do this about as lackadaisical as we could possibly do it. We're going to introduce Rob here in just a moment. Emery, you're going to be a part of this. Come pick up one of these pieces of paper. Craig, you pick up one of those pieces of paper. I don't have the hat. What Paul is in Hawaii, and so this is to pick the order. No, go ahead. Come on in. Pick it. Tell me which one you pick. Which number is on your piece of paper. Craig, you go ahead and get one of yours as well.
It's number 5.
5 for Emery. Okay, Craig, what's yours?
2.
Craig is 2. Rob, I'm picking one up for you, okay? Just going to lean over. I don't have any idea which one this is. And you are you're number 4, which is not bad on the backside. This next one will be, mine is 1. Paul is then 3. All right. Rob, it is St. Andrews. Is there anything better?
I think you just said it. We all know what it looks like. We all know what it means. I wrote this week that the golf course is more important than the winner. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like that, though. The golf course will get a worthy champion because the golf course is worthy of it. You know, that's kind of the vibe. And I just love that we have lived long enough to have experienced a couple of these now in high definition. Back in the days on ABC when the ball would move back and forth, it looked like you're playing Pong on your television trying to see where the ball lands. Now it's in HD. We get expanded coverage, wall to wall. Doesn't get any better than this, and the weather's going to cooperate as well. Sorry, Saturday's going to be a little dicey, but other than that, it's going to be an outstanding week.
All right, here we go. We're going to make our picks. I got the first pick, which means I don't pick again until number 10, and we'll use your power rankings on who Paul is when he comes up at number 3. I will start.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Fitzpatrick. Craig, you're next.
Go Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler. Paul would be next, and that would be – who would be next in your power? Okay, I got him right here in front of me.
Rory
McIlroy. Okay. Rob, you're next.
I'll stick with that theme and go with John Rahm, number 2.
Okay.
The power ranking.
Emery. Xander Schauffele. That makes great sense after what he just did in Scotland. And you get a follow-up pick. Justin Thomas. JT. Rob, you're back your way.
Jordan Spieth fell to me, so I'll take him.
Jordan Spieth for Rob. Paul Catalina would then be next, and that would be Fleetwood, correct?
Yes, it would.
All right, Craig, you're next.
Will Zalatoris.
Zalatoris, I've had him. He's the one that helped me win the PGA Championship. I'll take Morikawa at 1, at my third pick or second pick, and turn around.
Get the defending champion. Nice.
Yeah, I know. And I'm going to take Lowry after that. Back to you, Craig.
Let's see here. Trying to write it all down at the same time. Let's go with Matt Fitzpatrick.
No, I got him already.
Okay, Sam Burns.
Sam Burns, okay, good pick. Paul would be next, and that would be Cameron Smith.
Yeah.
Back to you, Rob.
Who needs to attend one of these things? He's doing mighty fine with it.
Yeah.
Because of the format, because it's so important to make the cut, and because he's a former winner, which doesn't hurt at St. Andrews, Louis Oosthuizen.
Oosty, okay. Emery, you get 2 picks.
And then I'll go Victor Hovland and Hideki Matsuyama.
Okay, he has Hovland and Matsuyama, all right? And, Rob, you go backwards with your 4th pick.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Do I do it? I got to do it. I got to take Cantlay. Got to keep the faith.
Yeah, that's going according to form, which means Paul would be next and take Tyrell Hatton, correct?
Yeah, the bane of these drafts over the years, Tyrell Hatton.
I know. All right, Craig, you have one more pick.
I'm going to go, I guess, probably a little outside the box first, the rankings. Joaquin Neiman.
Oh, he's a top 20 guy, right, Rob?
Yeah, he's down there at 19. I like.
How about Yu Young Kim?
Tom the Tank Engine. Nice. Yeah, what a special player that kid is. 20 years of age.
20 years of age. He was fantastic.
Third.
Yeah.
First time he's ever played a links course last week. Finished third.
Yeah, I know.
Links style.
And
this is a little more linksy this week.
He
than
bogeyed
last
18,
week,
did he not? And kind of, but he played
He did.
incredibly
free
well.
putter from like 60 feet.
Yeah. I'm just going to go with that because I'm the defending champion, so I'm playing with house money.
I love that you open with Fitzpatrick. You got the defending champion on the flip side. You know, I passed on Fitzpatrick during our draft a month ago because I want to have a little fun, and I think it was Sunjay M, and M missed the cut, but I already had Laurie who missed the cut, so I would have. And then you took Fitzpatrick very smartly, obviously, right after me with M. But I was almost thankful that Laurie missed the cut because then it wouldn't have mattered anyway if I had Fitzpatrick. It's one of the benefits of the format is if you're already out early, you're already out. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
And you were the only one who made all four. That's how difficult this is. We could go right down the power rankings, as we've talked about so many times. And it really, you got to be careful.
It's a very difficult course, but it is so unique. You know, it's the weather, as you said, could flare up. When you look at some of the great names, obviously Mickelson hasn't played well. Tiger's played. This will be his third tournament, and he couldn't finish the PGA Championship. Is there who among those two has the better chance to make the cut?
Tiger Woods, because he is so smart. My concern is that he stays out of the bunkers with that leg. I mean, that's really the number one thing for me. If he stays out of the bunkers, look out. I mean, top 10, not out of the question. Tiger Woods, St. Andrews, blah, blah, blah. But if he gets in those bunkers, you know, I depending on the stance, you could see him. I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you could see him taking a penalty if the shot doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Now, there's so much expanse out there that he could hit it backwards just to get out of the way, so it's like a penalty anyway. But you can't guarantee that lie if he wasn't dropping. So we'll see. We might see something out of him that we've never seen before, and we've seen quite a bit out of him. So confidence is much higher. Mickelson's game, you can obviously flare it around that place, but I just don't like anything about where he is, his headspace, what he's been dealing with. We don't know how it's all affecting him. And, you know, while some of these tournaments are coming up at a great time for so many of these guys, as a longtime fan of Phil Mickelson, I'd almost want him to spend a little more time not playing, or at least not being in the spotlight like he has, and then let some of this other stuff, let the dust settle, and to see where we are. Because, guys, I mean, it was just a couple 3 months ago we thought maybe we'd be behind some of the stuff, and we're not at all. So, you know, morbidly curious about what Mickelson does this week, where I'm fascinated by how Tiger navigates this course.
He, of course, made comments about LIV. He said, I don't agree with it. I think that what they've done is they've turned their back on what has allowed them to get into this position. You have people on either side. What's interesting is we just made our picks, and none of the high profile named players on LIV, Bryson, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, obviously Mickelson, Poulter, who always plays well in these kind of tournaments, we did not mention a one of them.
Yeah, which is funny because you'd think that those guys are at the tip of our tongue, and you just mentioned that you didn't think that we drafted any of them, but I did with Oosthuizen. He's part of that.
Oh, that's right. You're
and yet
right.
we
absolutely
sort of glossed over him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're only focusing on like the shiniest toys, you know, so to speak. But to your point, Smokey, it's that so many of these guys have not been playing well for a long period of time, so they don't deserve our draft picks. I qualified mine with Oosthuizen because he's probably going to make the cut, and I really want that in this form. That's paid off time and again, as you guys have noticed. But nevertheless, he is part of that crew, and we're not going to see him much in the PGA Tour in the short term, at least that we know of. But this week, he gets to go out there and play his ball.
Nicholas was honored by the Royal St. Andrews, and that was a really cool deal. I watched that speech earlier today, the 150th Open Championship. And then one other question is, I saw where is there a class action suit that might be going on or at least somebody opening up investigation that the PGA Tour may have done some things they shouldn't have done with LIV?
Well, it's a little, yeah. I'm not going to get into the legalese because I'm not a lawyer, but yeah, it's a little bit like what happened in 1994 with the antitrust lawsuit violation, allegedly that ended up not going anywhere. Kind of sparked the whole thing with the World Golf Championships. Eventually, it all tied into that back then. Essentially, Tour came out of that, relatively unscathed. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but
right.
And they're confident that this is very similar to that. We'll see. This is predictable as well. So just think of it this way. I mean, obviously, I work for the PGA Tour, so everybody listening is going to have a certain viewpoint on where I'm coming from. But just remember that in any business, no matter what it is, anytime one of your leaders or constituents gets out there and says something, it's prepared rhetoric. It's not just on the cuff. You're ready for these questions, and the Tour is ready for this. They saw this coming. I think anybody that was following this regularly and closely over time figured that something like this was going to happen. We just didn't know exactly in sort of what format, but this is going to be it. And the first one, maybe there'll be more. We'll see. But it's an interesting, place and time, and everybody's sort of picking their teams, their tribes, potentially, and we'll see where it goes. But there's so much that's not resolved, and maybe this will be good for everybody involved, and we'll have a harmony. Obviously, since the last time we spoke, Jay Monahan got out there and explained what's going to happen in 2024 with the new calendar year and the new fall season. We're going to have basically 4 months of no official PGA Tour action that contributes to the FedEx Cup. So the world's going to be a very different place in just a very short period of time. And maybe there'll be some sort of coexistence between LIV, between the PGA Tour. Not that everybody wants that necessarily in the way it is right now, but it could be where we're headed. But so much has changed in just the last 6 months that who knows what's going to happen just a month from now, 2 months from now. We'll see where this lawsuit takes us.
One more thing, Rob, if you don't mind, is they're trying to get world ranking points at LIV. Can they get that with 54-hole tournaments? Is there like a prerequisite for something like that? Instead of getting, let's say, 100 points or 1,400 points, would it be less because of the length of the tournaments they play? If they even get that?
Well, on that factor alone, there are 54-hole events worldwide that are contributing or that are receiving world golf ranking points. So I think once that elevates or emerges as a front burner topic and we're all talking about it, that will come out in terms of there's a precedent for it. So we'll see how that is dealt with. Jay Monahan's on the board for the official world golf ranking, and the PGA Tour has a seat at that table. Like all 6 federation tours, and they're overseeing the entire game. I mean, they're the policy holders for what's happening in the world of golf. So they'll have to listen to everybody, and obviously they have their own, vested interests in what's happening, not only with LIV, but with the alliance, the strategic alliance the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour have now. But that is a key factor, and perhaps LIV will evolve to erase that. Perhaps it'll be a compromise. But on that factor alone, there actually is some precedent to it. So that should be a fascinating component of the conversation. Probably not in the too distant future.
At Rob Bolton Golf on Twitter, he will post the rounds as we go. Thank you for your time, Rob. We appreciate it. Trying to get your championship back. Somebody broke the dynasty.
I will arm wrestle for it if we tie.
You got it, buddy. You got it. Thank you very much, man.
Right,
we appreciate it.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah.